the smartphone coaching system, how to radically improve your life with your phone. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my book today, and I'm going to start with why we do this. And for me it was something that happened quite often. I was reading a book, was getting really inspired, and then 1 week later my life looked exactly the same as the week before. You would take a course, you got really inspired, 6 months later my life looked exactly the same. Because getting inspired is not enough. I took a sales course 10 years ago, it was super good, I was so inspired. Then Monday I came back to the office, hundreds of emails, phone calling, and back to normal life. So a course that gives you inspiration but no change, you might as well, a book that just makes you inspired but doesn't improve your life, you might as well not read it. So that's kind of why we're doing this smartphone coaching. I'm going to explain more in this presentation. Maybe you're familiar with these steps of competence that so if you take this with a book, for example, before you read the book, you're unconscious incompetence. You don't even know about this concept. You read the book and you have an aha moment, an awareness, and suddenly you know that, okay, this is pretty good stuff. But it's not part of you. So it's a conscious incompetence. So you know that you should do something, but you don't do it. And most books and most courses, I find, takes you from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence, which is not enough. Because the actual change happens when you apply the concepts, and when you live the concept, when you do the concept daily. So we need to move up the ladder from conscious incompetence to eventually conscious competence, and then eventually mastery, which is unconscious competence, which is when it's part of you. It's just in your subconscious mind. So the problem that I saw was a book or course given inspiration but not much change. The solution is to move up the competence ladder by studying, applying, and using it daily. And how do we do this? In smartphone coaching we work with your phone, because the phone is always with you in your pocket. And it can be as an accountability or a reminder. I'm going to show you a few examples at the end about this. But first, some formulas. The wrong formulas that a lot of people live their lives like. They're motivated to improve their lives, they have the right strategy, but they don't take any action. And this doesn't lead to any change if you don't take the action. Maybe you read a book, you get inspired, and in the book you have the strategy, but you forget the last part, no action. And I see this a lot in Dubai, unfortunately. People are stuck in jobs where they are not happy. They know, they have the motivation to change their life, and they have the strategy, but they just don't take the action. Instead they complain and blame other people, which will not lead to a better life. So, I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about. And the second one is you're motivated to improve, but you have the wrong strategy, and you take massive action, waste of time. So if someone has already done something, learn from that person, and you will gain a lot of time. If could be the right exercise routine, or if someone has not really done a business thing that you want to do, you can do the same thing. You just learn from that person. So having the wrong strategy, taking a lot of action, waste of time. And then the last one, you miss the motivation. So you have the right strategy, you take the action, but you don't have the motivation, and this becomes short-term thinking. It will not last, because if you don't have the motivation, eventually you will stop doing it. That's the wrong formula. So the correct formula for us is you have the motivation to improve, you found the right strategy, and you take the action, and that can then eventually lead to a better life. And we define a better life as improving your health, your relationship with your family and loved ones, and a meaningful purpose, having something to do that you enjoy doing daily. So that's how we define a better life, and we use this formula to get there. And we add something in the smartphone coaching system. We add your phone, because your phone is in your pocket and can be used in many different ways. So that's the complete formula in the smartphone coaching system. So just a little bit about the background of this, how this started. I moved to Dubai in 2007 from Sweden, Stockholm, and in Sweden I had a friend. We used to meet and have coffee, maybe once a month, and discuss our goals. the next month, what we wanted to achieve, the action steps. So I would share my goals, he would share his goals. When I moved to Dubai, I couldn't do that with him. So what we did is we put our goals in an Excel sheet on the internet, in a Google Docs, Google document. So he could see my goals and I could see his goals. So that means he could follow up with me like, hey, have you done what you're supposed to do? And I could follow up with him. So it's like, wow, this is quite interesting. And it worked really, really well. Later, I've always been into personal development and reading books about this ever since I was a kid, I was about to say. But for the last 10, 15 years, I've been reading about this stuff. 2 years ago, I got certified as a coach under the ECC, International Coaching Community. And I also found that a lot of the principles in coaching could be applied in technology. So by combining personal development and coaching, you had, no, personal development and technology, you had a new concept that becomes even more powerful. Technology is really powerful. There's a lot of things we can do with technology. Intel, they said 2 years ago that a smartphone of today has more computing power than whole of NASA had at the time of the moon landing. So this is something we actually walk around with in our pockets every day. And what is a phone today? It's not just for calling anymore. You can have thousands of songs in here, you can have thousands of pictures in here, you can have a calendar, a note section, applications. There's a lot of things. This is something that everyone carries with them in their pockets, which opens up a lot of opportunities for these things. That's how we work in smartphone coaching. So we combine those two things. Principles for improving your life and technology. First of all, before I show you the examples, I want to show what we don't want. We don't want this. Absolutely not. I think you've all been there. You go for a dinner with your mates, and instead of talking, everyone is flicking with their phones. This is not the smartphone coaching system, and in fact the opposite. We teach people to have simple etiquette. I struggle with this sometimes. You can ask my wife, but I practice it and I try to get better by having maybe one technology-free day a week, putting on airplane mode when I go out. If I have a nice romantic dinner with my wife, I put it on air flight mode so no one can call me. These kind of things, you know. So they're always around it. So.
That's nice.
So, because I think you've all been in this situation, and this is not what we want. It's rude. One thing simple thing is, if someone calls in, you have to pick it up. Don't pick it up. Just apologize first. I'm sorry. This is a really important business phone that I have to take, and then pick up, instead of just like, hey, no. So, I just want to say that before continue with the examples. I'm going to share with you some personal examples, how I personally have used this to improve my life. And I want to start with the business that I mainly do, which is something called Hans Briscoe. I left a salary job 3 years ago and started working on commission, working completely performance-based, which is a little bit different than when you have your salary at the end of the month. After 1 year, business was doing okay, but business doing okay and money in the pocket is two different stories. So a lot of you have your own businesses, and you know the cash flow can be a challenge. We had a big payment coming from a hotel. I'm not going to name the hotel, but they were late in paying us, so meaning I couldn't get the money. In December that year, we were supposed to pay the rent. My wife came with half the money, like, here's my money, where's your part? And I'm like, that's a very good question. Yeah, my part is with one of my suppliers. So basically I had to borrow money from a few friends to sort this out. And it was quite heavy. So what did I do? Well, I used my smartphone. First thing is this formula then, the first part with the motivation. Pain is a strong motivator. When you can't afford to pay the rent, that pushes you to find the necessary action steps. So first thing, I got motivated. And we, in smartphone coaching, we use two ways. We use pain and pleasure. So the pain is just that the pain was there, obviously. And the pleasure was identifying the goals where I wanted to be. So this was the negative situation, and this is the situation where I want to be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now. So identifying an attractive goal for direction. So that was the next part. And then finding the right strategy. I found a few sales gurus that I found was really good. I put them on my phone so I can listen to it when I was driving. So I was listening to these sales guys over and over again, different strategies on how to improve sales. I was in my car, I was listening to this, taking an exercise walk in the morning, I was listening to this. So basically finding the right strategy, and with my phone I could learn the strategy by listening to it over and over and over again. Because if you read one book on sales, it's not going to improve your skills. You need to constantly feed yourself with this. So that was the strategy. And then massive action, went out and took massive action, and basically trying to get in front of as many clients as possible and adding value. So the first part that I was talking about was this identifying the goal. So in Hans Briscoe, the organization that I work for, is we have something called President's Club, which is once you reach a certain level, you get an award and you get to go on stage with the founder of the company. So the picture is pretty bad, but basically I scanned my business card and I added this line here which says President's Club, which was not there. I faked it and I put it on my phone so I could review it. So then I was going through my goal folder, which is a concept that we have, and I was like, oh, I'm in President's Club. Wow, that's pretty cool. You know? So just believing it and seeing it happening before it actually happened.